I never expected to see her there, Sarah, my colleague Mark's wife, sitting alone at the dimly lit bar on a rainy Friday night, her blonde hair cascading over her shoulders as she sipped white wine from an elegant glass, the kind that caught the neon lights from the Republic sign above the bar, her white dress hugging her curves in a way that made the room feel warmer despite the chill outside. She looked up when I approached, her blue eyes widening in surprise but then softening into a smile that revealed perfect teeth. I hesitated for a moment, my suit jacket still damp from the downpour, but something pulled me forward. Mark was out of town on a business trip. He had mentioned it casually in the office that morning, complaining about the long flight, so here she was, alone. And I, David, his direct report, found myself sliding onto the stool next to her, the bartender nodding as I ordered a whiskey neat. The ice clinking softly against the glass. We started talking about work at first, safe topics like the upcoming project deadline and how Mark was always the one to pull all-nighters. But her laughter was light, almost musical, cutting through the hum of conversations around us. She twirled the stem of her wine glass, her fingers long and manicured with a subtle red polish that matched the glow of the bar lights. I noticed the way her dress dipped low, revealing just enough to spark curiosity without being overt. The air between us thickened with unspoken words. She leaned in closer, her perfume a mix of jasmine and vanilla enveloping me, making my pulse quicken. Outside the windows, rain pattered against the glass, blurring the city lights into streaks of gold and red. Inside, the bar was alive with clinking glasses and muffled jazz from the speakers. But our corner felt isolated, intimate. She confessed that Mark had been distant lately, buried in work, leaving her to her own devices most nights. Her voice dropped to a whisper as she said it, her eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that made my throat dry. I took a sip of whiskey, the burn steadying me, and asked if she wanted company. She nodded, her lips parting slightly. And that's when the conversation shifted from colleagues to something more personal. She talked about her dreams of traveling, places she'd never been because Mark was always too busy. Her hand brushed mine accidentally as she reached for a napkin, or was it accidental? The spark was electric, undeniable. The bar stools creaked as I shifted closer, our knees almost touching under the counter. The bartender refilled her glass without asking, a knowing smile on his face, perhaps sensing the tension building like a storm. She laughed again, this time at my joke about office politics, her head tilting back, exposing the smooth line of her neck. I couldn't help but stare, imagining what it would feel like under my lips, but I pushed the thought away, reminding myself she was Mark's wife. Yet the night was young and the wine was flowing, her cheeks flushed with a rosy glow. Not just from the alcohol, I think. We ordered appetizers, shared olives and cheese that arrived on a wooden board, our fingers grazing as we both reached for the same piece. Lingering a second too long, the jazz melody slowed, a saxophone solo weaving through the air, mirroring the slow build of desire. She asked about my life, if I was seeing anyone. I shook my head, admitting it had been a while. Her eyes sparkled with mischief, saying maybe that was about to change. The words hung there bold and inviting. My heart raced. The rain outside intensified, thunder rumbling in the distance. But inside it was just us, two people connecting in a way that felt forbidden yet inevitable. She placed her hand on my arm, her touch warm through my shirt sleeve, sending shivers down my spine. I covered her hand with mine, not pulling away. The bar faded into the background, the other patrons mere shadows, our world narrowing to this moment, this spark. And I knew deep down that what really happened that night was just beginning. Approximately 3,000 characters, including spaces. As the night deepened, the bar grew more crowded, laughter and chatter filling the space. But Sarah and I were in our own bubble, her stories flowing like the wine. She spoke of her wedding day, how perfect it seemed at the time. But now, years later, the spark had dimmed, Mark consumed by ambition, leaving her feeling invisible. Her voice carried a hint of sadness that tugged at me. I shared my own frustrations, the long hours, the lack of recognition. But mostly I listened, captivated by her vulnerability. Her dress shimmered under the lights, the fabric clinging to her body as she moved, accentuating every curve, I ordered another round, this time champagne to celebrate nothing in particular, the bubbles rising in the flute's L.